Well, welcome back to Exhaustsports Auto. My name is Kevin, and I am once again back at Cary Imports to deliver to you another review. But in this particular case, this is the 1999 Pontiac Trans AM. Wow, what a machine. This is a pretty special opportunity because it's not just any old Trans Am, it's actually the WS6 package with just 50,000 miles on it. Yep, it's got the 6-speed manual, the Borg-Warner 6-speed manual with the Hurst shifter. It's got all that stuff and seats that are in absolute immaculate condition. So it's pretty much like a brand new car. It even smells like a brand new car. So this is a very little special opportunity for me. I don't care how many views this gets because this is just such a special opportunity. It's just, you're never going to get something like this unless it's like some ridiculous high mileage thing. But enough talking, let's just get right into this little review of the Trans Am. One of the first things, I was just kind of driving around in the parking lot a little bit, and dude, the clutch is actually surprisingly pretty easy to get used to. It's not like a ridiculously insane hard vehicle to drive. I believe there is like an exhaust and tubes, headers, all that stuff. It's got the SLP performance stuff on here, but other than that, this is pretty clean, pretty stock. Tremendous output of horsepower, no doubt about that. Yeah, this is a pretty special little machine right here. It's got, because it's like the 1999, it's like one of the last models with the WS6 package. It's got the aluminum block LS motor in it, straight out of the Corvette, producing, in this particular instance, stock anyway, 325 horsepower and 345 pounds-feet of torque. That may or may not sound like a lot to you, but honestly, back in the day, that was like tremendous. It was like supercar levels, honestly. Gosh, that thing is glorious to listen to, man. Like a proper, naturally aspirated. Got nice little cops and everything all around. Visibility in this is an absolute joke. I will say, the clutch wasn't too bad to get used to. I do like the shifter for the most part. It's surprisingly very direct. However, I don't like the neutral in this vehicle. It doesn't, I'm a wiggler. I like to wiggle the stick a little bit. In this vehicle, it's a little bit difficult to know that if you are. Sounds so naughty. Sounds like oh man, it just sounds like an absolute monster. It's not like the fastest thing on the planet, but it's so rewarding to drive this thing, man. It's like words can't describe it. This is so it's just so out of its element in today's cars, I suppose. Like there's nothing brand new that you can get that's even close to this, right? It is a 6-speed, not the 5-speed manual. The throttle isn't super touchy. You have to kind of like get into the throttle a little bit. You'd be surprised how solid this feels for like a, if you're a GM hater, dude, this thing is very solid. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. The steering, so precise, like it's got a great feel to it. Not a whole lot of body roll. We're gonna test some of that cornering capabilities in a bit. This particular one is running at 18-inch wheels. I believe they're aftermarket. And originally they would have, 275 wide tires, like all around, I guess. But in this case, it's got the 295s in the back, actually. Gosh, this thing sounds so monsterly. The brakes in this vehicle, very progressive. It's not gonna like shoot you right through the windshield or anything like that when you get on it. It looks tremendous as well. It's such a cool looking car. A little Supra right there, but I feel far more special sitting in this than I would in that Supra, that brand new Supra, mind you. Gosh, this thing just makes an absolute racket. I love it. visibility is so trash in this car. But anyway, yeah, the looks of it, when I was a kid, I didn't particularly like care too much for it. However, as a grown adult, if you will, I like it a lot more now. The way the front end looks, the Ram air intakes, tremendous. Now in this vehicle, this is the 4th generation F body. They made some nice little tweaks to it. It's got a short and long arm front suspension. That's what enabled it to have such an amazing kind of driving dynamic, if you will. Third generation only had a strut-based suspension up front, but this went to a nice little, everybody's getting out of the way from me here. But yeah, like I was saying, it had a strut-based suspension in 3rd generation, but this like kind of this variation of a double wishbone gives it an excellent driving dynamic, lowers the center of gravity a little bit, helps it ride a little bit better. It's one of the most refined ride characteristics in a F-body, like Camaro, Trans Am type body, if you will. So this was a very impressive vehicle when it first came out, actually. You know, I have to say this vehicle is not beating me up at all. There's going to be some, worse pavement coming up here, but for the most part, this thing is so comfortable. You'd be so surprised, actually. Just looking at it, you would think it should beat you up like crazy, but it really, truly does not. Everything about it's so natural. The steering isn't overweighted, like, for no reason. Just a nice, composed steering rack here. These seats are stupid comfortable. I'll get to more of that in the interior segment, but golly, dude, I love piloting this thing. It's very special. In a world of cars where they're just so boring nowadays, this just feels so unique and special. You know, again, I wish this thing would wiggle a little bit more, but, you know, is what it is. This thing just makes such a racket. I mean, yeah, I guess, yeah, it drones a lot and all that good stuff, but honestly, like, do you care? Like, you buy this thing for the noise, for the theater of it. That's the whole reason why you purchase a vehicle like this. With 50,000 miles on it, dude, it's pretty, it's a very special thing to experience. Yeah, oh man, love listening to that. That never gets old. It's like some might find that disturbing. I don't. Gosh, man. Yeah, about to check out more of that ride quality here in a bit, as well as the handling dynamics. Flooring it, you know, mid-corner, doesn't get super sideways on me. You know, it's actually got like a decent amount of grip, you know, because it's got like these Toyo Proxy tires on it, so it's not absolutely insane. This particular one is the coupe, if I haven't mentioned that. It's not the convertible. It does have the T-top, of course, classic, gotta have that. Got a little bicyclist here. I'm about to scare the living hell out of this guy. You know, this is a very long vehicle. It's about 195 inches long. It's about the same size like a BMW 5 Series, like a new one. It's like the size of a mid-size luxury sedan, this coupe. It's a big body, but it's just still a coupe, you know what I'm saying? Check out this little cornering dynamics here. Stupid cocksuckers. Yeah, this not a whole lot of body roll coming out of this thing. It is a hatchback, however, very similar to like the newer Corvettes, but it's not. You know, it is like a little bit of body lean, but it's really not too bad. You'd be surprised. You might think that it's like some roly-poly, like, you know, just a nonsense vehicle, but you'd be surprised just how composed this vehicle truly feels. I have a lot of confidence piloting this car from a driving standpoint. And yeah, I'm going to talk more about this in the interior segment, but like this interior is really rather solid. There's not a lot of creaks and rattles. A little something I hear from the back when I go over some larger bumps. However, it's really not too bad. It's very unnatural for like a GM product to be this solid feeling after all these years. Very glorious. Again, it's not the fastest thing in the planet, but it's just so much fun to wring out that naturally aspirated V8, especially with that exhaust system, man. It's just went over, yeah, some like really bad bumps right there. However, it's really not feeling half bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not really crashing over those bumps. It's very refined, very comfortable. I can do some long distance driving in this thing, no problems whatsoever. Yeah, like I was saying, it's a large vehicle, but it's not too difficult to pilot. I mean, I got into this thing, I got used to it rather quickly. Very nice turn in. Doesn't get super sideways on me, but I'm sure it could, you know, if the conditions were correct. Golly, man. This has been such a special treat, dude. I love driving this thing around. Where are you going to get a car like this? You know, I guess, you know, the Corvettes and stuff are out, but like, you know, now that I'm older, now I'm looking at this thing, you know, big, you know, Smokey and the Bandit and what was a Knight Rider car, right? That's what this was. Yeah, I mean, I don't know about those movies. I've never seen them. I don't really care about it. However, I know that's what kind of made these cars famous. This is almost like the Hellcat back in the day. You know what I'm saying? It was like that much of a legendary experience. But it's not just that, like, be able to drive this like high trim model, the WS6 performance model with like this low mileage, the way that this car looks, you know, like today, I'm really appreciating the way that this car looks, man. It looks like nothing else out on the road, and it's just like a tremendous experience. And, you know, if you want to purchase this vehicle, you know, all the Cary Imports information is going to be down in the description box below, so there is that. But with that, all that established, just kind of talk about this interior real quick. I mean, the drive was what's important, right? So we kind of got that out of the way. Cops all over because quarantine Rona season right now. No matter that, I feel like cops would like this car. All right, so now that we're finally stopped, we can talk about this interior. So this interior space, like I was mentioning in the drive, it is so solid in here. There's hardly any creaks and rattles. I mean, it's in certain places. I mean, there's like one thing I found kind of like flimsy. I mean, it's kind of like this, what do you call it, this, when you smoke the ashtray, you know, it's a little flimsy, that little plastic thing, the little lid here. But other than that, dude, like this whole center console, like everything, it's really solid in here. I mean, like I mentioned, the only thing I kind of noticed was like something on the other passenger side over here, you know, kind of, I noticed a slight rattle, which is absolutely nothing, dude. I've been in like 100,000 mile Cadillacs and stuff like that from 01, and you know, those things were rattled out like crazy Benzes, you know what I'm saying? This is like still stupid solid. This is a very pristine and prime example of a Trans Am here. This is Firebird, very beautiful. And like I mentioned, it has like that new car smell as well. It's like nothing's really been tampered with. It's like it's hardly even been used. The seats, there's like virtually no wrinkles on it at all. It's just super solid. This leather is very supple, actually. That's one of the first things I noticed when I kind of like, you know, climbed in here. It's just very nice cabin space, good visibility out the front. You know, like I mentioned, the back not so good. Side view mirrors are a joke. However, just the driving position in this thing, size of the wheel, where, you know, you're kind of just nestled into this seat, it's all tremendous. You can do hella miles in here sitting in this seat. It is so comfortable. I love it. It's actually electric seats as well, and you do have like the bolsters that tighten up electrically, like you can kind of control that here. So very cool stuff here. I really do like that a lot. You do have electric windows as well. It says auto on it. I guess like if you hold it down, like it'll like auto one touch go down. Not really. It's very slow to go up and down, and despite it being a coupe, it doesn't do that thing where like the, you know, like the window comes down slightly, and you know, when you close it, it comes back up. It doesn't do any of that. It just stays the same. So that's just something I noticed. But everything has like a general sense of solidity to it that I really actually like. And this steering wheel, I do like this a lot. I like to hold on to this thing. It's kind of a thin rim steering wheel, and but it's a good size, and you have some volume control knobs here as well. There's a lot of nice little things that they've done here, actually. And speaking of volume, dude, the sound system in this thing, not half bad. I don't know if, I know like one of these models came with like a 500 watt sound system. I don't know if this particular one has it, but kind of sounds like it does. It sounds extremely nice. It does have like this little equalizer. I've noticed like older vehicles tended to come with that. Stupid simple climate control, of course, and you have your traction control system. You know, traction control, big deal during that time. Pop-up headlamps, of course. You know, what's a Trans Am? What's a Pontiac Firebird without the you know, pop-up headlamps? Are very special, very unique. I believe the Camaro had like the regular headlights kind of indented inside of the bumper. It's I didn't really like the way the Camaro looked. I wasn't even a huge fan of this particular car when it first came out, but dude, like after all these years, seeing the way that this car looks, it's gnarly. I love it. It's so unique. It's so slick. It looks like a missile, honestly, with the ram air intakes with the snorkel essentially. So very cool stuff there. I noticed I don't know what it was. I was kind of tinkering with the right mirror. It wouldn't really go up and down. It would just go like left and right. I don't know what's up with that, but whatever. So space in here. So I am 5'11", and you know, is it easy to get in and out of this thing? Somewhat. It's not the worst thing in the world. I mean, obviously it's not like, you know, like stepping into an SUV. However, it's not insane. I think you can get away with this. If you're slightly elderly, I think you can make this happen, especially with how comfortable these seats are. I think it's doable, but getting in and out of this thing, not insanely ridiculous. I'm 5'11" though. I'm not brushing my head up against anything. You know, I fit in anything because I'm under 6 feet. But if you are over 6 feet tall, check it out. I feel like the leg room is very good. That's not an issue. But just watch over the headroom. It does come with a T-top, so I guess you could just stick your head out like a pope, I suppose. But you know, do with that what you will. Again, shifter, I love the shifter quality of it, very solid. Doesn't do that thing where like the knob like twists out or anything like that. I noticed that with some newer Japanese cars. Very structured. I do like that. Again, I just don't like the way the neutral feels in this particular vehicle. That's the only thing. It feels sturdy all the time. But you always pretty much know what gear you're in. That's not an issue. I do like using this transmission quite a bit. It's very nice, and like I mentioned, the clutch uptake in this, not too ridiculous. The throttle is a little bit, you have to like get in it type of thing. Really gotta like tell the car that you mean business, right? Gauge cluster, very old school, right? It's not some liquid display, nothing like that. Old school, traditional. Goes up to 150 miles per hour. I believe these things used to do like 160 miles per hour. I believe that was like the top speed. 0 to 60 was about 5 seconds flat. It feels about 5 seconds flat. That's why it's not like the fastest thing in the world, but like it's just the motor, the sound, the sensations, the vibrations. That's what makes this vehicle feel so special, man. You just got to get in it to understand it. That's the main thing. Door pocket space, pretty much non-existent. Not too much space there. You know, back seats, they look great, but you know, don't expect me to jump back there. You know, I'm not some 12-foot monkey to play that game. No, you can watch some Doug DeMuro or something like that, or watch some obscure people step into the back seat of small cars. I'm not doing that here. I will say that the hatchback, very interesting. So I tried to open it with a key. It wasn't really working. I don't know what's up with that, but I did manage to, you know, there's like this little yellow button right here to pop open that hatch. And when I opened it up, it's like a huge hatch. Like the way it opens up, it's like massive. But there's not a ton of space back there. Like it's primarily like a shelf, and then like the trunk space is just like this little space. Not tremendous, but hey, it's something. You know, always like shove stuff in the back seat here as well. I don't really give a damn about that. I mean, it's just the driving experience, the way it looks, the sensations that you get piloting this thing. That's what makes this particular vehicle special, and that's why I love this thing. 50k miles, 99 WS6 package. I mean, where else are you gonna get this from? So again, I'm going to be leaving all of Cary Imports information down in the description box below. You can arrange shipments. It'll be on your cost. However, they will ship this car in any of the 48 states, and you know, you can have fun with that. And you know, I hope somebody actually does enjoy this particular vehicle. I wish I was in the market for something like this, because it is truly something special, and with all that's going on in the world, it was a nice little fresh of breath air for me to be able to pilot this car. I really do appreciate this, and I appreciate Adam here, who went out of his way to get this vehicle and to actually let me even do this review on such a pristine vehicle like this, to get this opportunity. I do appreciate that. The owner actually had to drive out to Ohio. It was like this huge ordeal, but he got this car, and you can purchase it if you would like. So with that, thank you very much for watching this review, and please do take care. Goodbye.